This is section 10.1, solid geometry. These are the objectives. Classify three-dimensional figures according to their properties. Use nets to analyze three-dimensional figures. Vocab: face, vertex, cylinder, polyhedron, cone, net, edge, cube, prism, and pyramid. It's quite a few terms, but by the end of this lesson you should be familiar with all those terms. Let's move on to the next slide. Key terms, follow along. These are three-dimensional figures or solids can be made up of a flat or curved surfaces. Refer to the picture as I read along. It says each flat surface is called a face. You can see it on the picture. An edge is a segment that is the intersection of two faces. And again, let me get a pen. Here's where the edge is. A vertex is the point that is the intersection of three or more faces. So here's they're highlighting this vertex. There are other vertices in this picture. But let me move on to the next slide. If you want me to clarify this a little bit further, talk to me in class. Next slide. I'm actually going to ask you to read this, copy the example. As you're reading this on your own, refer to the example and it should clarify what this term means. And again, if you need further clarification, I'm more than happy to do it in class. Just ask me. But I'm fairly confident that once you read the term, what the term is, and refer to the example, it should be fairly clear. Prism names. It says a cube is a prism with 6 square faces. Other prisms and pyramids are named for the shape of their bases. So let me give you some examples. So why do we call this a a triangular prism? Because the base is a triangle. Why do we call this a pentagonal prism? Because the base is a pentagon, and so forth. So notice that the top row is all prisms, and the bottom row, they're all pyramids. And again, this is a rectangular pyramid because the base is a rectangle. Let's move on to the next slide. Says classify the figure, name the vertices, edges, and base or bases. So here, to classify the figure, this is a pentagonal pyramid because the base is a pentagon. Now the vertices, you see them where 3 or more edges meet. Excuse me. And you can see them there. Let me highlight them. A, B, C, D, E, and F. Now let's look at the edges. The edges, there's quite a few, but you should be able to follow along. These are all the edges in this pentagonal pyramid. And the last part is the base. There's only one base. Since the base is a pentagon, then the base is pentagon A, B, C, D, E. Let's look at this slide. It says identifying three-dimensional figures from a net. Follow along. It says a net is a diagram of the surfaces of a three-dimensional figure that can be folded to form a three-dimensional figure. To identify the three-dimensional figure from a net, look at the number of faces and the shape of each face. So again, this is representing a net. In a little bit, we're going to find out what it is once we create a three-dimensional. Once we do some folding and creating a three-dimensional figure, we're going to find out what it is. Let's move on to the next slide. Says describe the three-dimensional figure that can be made from the given net. If you look at this net, if you've created three-dimensional by folding some of the edges here, you're going to end up with a cube. I can clarify this even further. Just talk to me in class. Number 3, this is the one that you saw earlier. Says same direction as number 2. So what do we get once we create a three-dimensional figure? This one has no edges, but once you've create a 3D figure, you're going to end up with a cone. This is going to be your base, and this is going to create the pointy side. It sort of looks like a hat. I won't draw let me just draw this. Again, you should know what a cone looks like. It looks something like this. You get the point. It's an ugly looking cone, but you get the point. Let's move on to the next slide. So now, chain directions. From this net, what do we get? If you think about it, we get a triangular pyramid because the base is the base of this prism is a triangle. Let's move on to the next slide. Same thing, same directions as the previous problems. If I was to create a 3D figure, what do we get? This is actually going to be a cylinder. And if you want me to clarify any of these that you have seen up to this point, talk to me in class, and I'll be more than happy to. Let's move on to the last slide. And this is basically defining something. Follow along. It says a polyhedron is formed by 4 or more polygons that intersect only at their edges. Prisms and pyramids are polyhedrons, but cylinders and cones are not. So here's a picture that illustrates what makes a polyhedron and what is not a polyhedron. And this concludes video 10.1.